Welcome, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and hit record
This
now.
meeting is being recorded.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. As I was saying, welcome and thank you for joining us for the CT Talks episode 11, Caltrans Heroes. I'm Laura Strada Adams, your co-host and communications outreach coordinator for the Division of Human Resources in Headquarters Sacramento. Today's webinar is a special one as we highlight our extraordinary Medal of Valor awardees and shed light on how Caltrans supports and recognizes their remarkable achievements. We are truly grateful for your continued support of CT Talks webinars, and your presence today really means so much to all of us and our guests. We thank you so much for being here. For those who may need to step away, don't worry, we'll be sending out a recorded link via email afterward. Throughout today's webinar, we invite you to share your questions or supportive comments in the chat, as Harriet and I will be pausing at points to pass this along to our guests. And with that, I'll hand it over to Harriet for an introduction.
Thanks, Laura. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. As Laura said, this is a really special one today to have an opportunity to interview one of our Medal of Valor awardees and our Employee Recognition Program coordinator. So really a great educational opportunity for all involved here today. So for those of you that have tuned in before, you know the drill for CT Talks, but in case you have not, this is what we're going to cover today. We're going to hear from our two panelists on their experience and insights as it relates to Caltrans Heroes and the vital importance of safety on the roadway. And you'll have your opportunity to ask your burning questions. So as Laura said, throw them in the chat throughout. We will be pausing to get to those questions for you. So who do we have here today? You may have seen from the marketing material, but we have Jeffrey Clute, our District 4, which is our Bay Area Maintenance Bridge Supervisor, and Carlos Banuelos, who's the Employee Recognition Coordinator here in Headquarters Sacramento. Hi, everybody. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you here today. And you both provided some short biographies. So I'll go ahead and get started with Jeffrey so we can learn a bit more about you. So Jeffrey Clute began his Caltrans career in December of 1991, working on the Rio Vista Bridge. Sorry? 1999. Sorry, 1999. Working on the Rio Vista Bridge maintenance crew. He worked there for 6 months, performing preventative maintenance on the 6 bridges along the Sacramento and McCollum rivers. In June of 2000, he moved on to the Petaluma Landscape crew, and in 2003, he transferred to the Fairfield Fence Guardrail crew. Jeffrey currently serves as a District 4 Bridge Maintenance Supervisor, overseeing a team of 6 and maintaining guardrail, fencing, and bridges in Solano and Napa counties. Jeffrey stated that he and others may have saved a gentleman from a burning vehicle on July 7th, 2023, but it isn't just about him. On June 25th of this year, 8 other gentlemen received awards for a heroic act, putting their lives on the line to save a member of the traveling public. They were all at the right place at the right time, and he is just glad to be a part of that. All of the North Bay, District 4, and district employees throughout the state put their lives on the line every day the minute they step out of their vehicles and onto the California state right-of-way. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Jeffrey. Thank you for your great words, and we're really excited to interview you today. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Next up, I'm going to have the pleasure of introducing Carlos. Carlos Banuelos has been with the Employee Recognition Program, and he's the coordinator at Caltrans, bringing over 20 years of customer service experience to this role. Since joining Caltrans in 2015, Carlos has been dedicated to uplifting employee morale and recognizing exceptional contributions to the department's mission. He started in the Office of Equal Employment Opportunity as a discrimination complaint investigator before transitioning to his current role in the Division of Human Resources in 2021. Outside of work, Carlos enjoys traveling, spending time with friends and family, and outdoor activities. Thanks so much for being here with us today, Carlos.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right.
And just before we get started, I do have a short video, but I believe I didn't share my audio when I shared my screen. So let me just reshare real quick. And we have a short video that really gives you an idea of what it's like to work along the roadway. This video is actually produced externally with Caltrans footage, and Laura's going to put in the chat. There's a link to this video if you're interested that gives a real virtual reality experience of what it's like working along the side of a freeway. There's a 360-degree camera, so you can really get an idea of what it's like for members of Caltrans like Jeffrey, who are along the side of the freeways in these dangerous circumstances every day. So we'll just play this quickly so you can get an idea.
If there's a crash, somebody takes 20 feet of rail, my crew and I have to respond to that. My name is Max Alvarado. I'm a Caltrans maintenance bridge supervisor. The thing that scares me the most is how much people don't pay attention. We see people try to either go around us, go into our lane closures, texting, talking on their cell phone, doing makeup. And I cannot believe that people actually would drive and try to read newspapers. We see it all. If we could document and write a book about all the things that we see on the side of the road, it would be an amazing story. It makes you wonder and it makes you think, is it going to be me tomorrow? Is it going to be my coworker tomorrow? Is it going to be someone in my area tomorrow? It just makes you wonder. When?
Really gives you chills, that video. I don't know about you, I get chills.
Absolutely.
So thank you for giving us an opportunity to share that video. I hope everyone in the audience enjoyed that, and you're getting a lot of love coming through. Feel free to use your emojis. Laura's big on the emojis, on the emoji love for these webinars, so feel free to send the love throughout. But with that, I'll kick it to Laura to get us started with our first question.
Yeah, thank you, Harry. And also, I did put the link in the chat just in case you missed it. It is in there now for that video. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off with you, Jeffrey. So tell us a little bit about your work and what it's like to work in this field. You know, speaking about a day in the life, what does your work entail? Talk about any challenges or share about your camaraderie.
Well, being that we have 2 counties for our crew, it's spread out quite a bit, and to have 6 people on the crew, that's really small. And we're a bridge crew, but we do the majority of it is guardrail. And it's, you know, you got to schedule closures to go out and repair the work, and majority of the time is you're scheduling CHP officers to come out there and be with you, because a lot of people don't pay attention to the orange lights. Once you get the red and blue lights out there, they start moving over. And so it just takes time scheduling, you know, having the personnel to do it, going out there and making the repairs that are necessary to make the road safer for the traveling public. And it never stops, you know. So you know, I always say this to everybody: we fix one, they hit 4. So, you know, it's a lot of people will tell me, you know, it's job security, but we got enough already. We don't need any more. And that's like that throughout the state. And so, you know, we have a hard time, you know, when we go out there trying to get the closure sometimes. And then when we get them, you know, putting them out, if we don't have a CHP, then, you know, we got to just be extra vigilant of what we're doing and keeping our eyes and ears open. There's numerous close calls out there every day. And so it's a good thing, you know, we got, you know, the guys on our crew, we all get along. We all know what we need to do when we get out there. So we're not stepping on each other's feet and just trying to get it all done in a safe and speedy manner.
I like how you spoke about you work with a tight-knit crew, a team of 6, so really just gives us a really good picture of how you guys are really like a family and you really just know each other really well. Just paints a really good picture and that you really have to communicate and just be there for each other every day to watch out for each other. So
Yeah, and then we work with other crews. They help us, we help them, and so it's always good to have a good group of people, and we have that in North Bay, whether it's in our 2 counties or Marin and Sonoma counties. We'll go out there to give them a hand, they'll give us a hand, and it always seems to work out pretty good. And
I love that. Yeah, just hearing the partnership and just being there for each other. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, so I'm going to head over to Carlos next, and we're going to switch it up a little bit. And so, Carlos, I want to ask you if you can kind of give everybody in the audience an overview and a history of the Governor's Medal of Valor Award. Just speaking to like the criteria for each category for like silver and gold medal awardees, when it was established, some stats on it.
Yeah, so this award program was established in 1959. The Governor's Medal of Valor is the highest honor the state can bestow upon an employee. It's an annual ceremony to honor and celebrate employees statewide who have gone above and beyond their call of duty. There are 2 categories. There's the Silver Award, which is for an act of heroism extending above and beyond the normal call of duty at personal risk to his or her safety to save the human life or state property. And then there's also the Gold Award, which Jeffrey was our gold winner this year, for an extraordinary act of heroism extending far above and beyond the normal call of duty, performed at great risk to his or her life and effort to save a human life. To date, over 800 state employees have received the Medal of Valor Award. Of those, 125 have been to Caltrans employees, 49 gold medals and 76 silver medals.
Wow, just incredible just to hear those numbers and just the impact of the people that are serving the state of California that are on our team and these other agencies teams. Just super powerful to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Carlos. And I was throwing in some emojis for sure, just for you, Jeff, and for the other awardees, just because it's just incredible the your actions on these events that you guys have all done. So
thank you.
with that, I'm going to hand it over to Harriet.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you both. Thank you, Jeffrey, your insights on a day in your life. And just before we move on to your actual incident, there's a question in the chat asking about how you decompress. Your work must be very stressful with working alongside active traffic on the right of way. How do you decompress at the end of the day?
I basically just spend time with, the loved ones when we can. And when I get home, it's either go out in the yard and do some work or do something to keep busy, or there's times where I'll just sit on the couch and end up falling asleep, not meaning to, and I'm out and grandkids are tugging at my toes and trying to wake me up and it doesn't work.
It's got to be a lot. It's very admirable what you do. It really is. And speaking of admirable, how about your actual incident? Can you walk us through, Jeffrey, the incident that happened? And what was the moment that you realized that someone's life was in danger?
Well, I was on my way home from work. It was a Friday, July 7th, and I was about halfway between Fairfield and Vacaville, and traffic wasn't too bad, so I was going about 65, and I just caught out of the corner of the left side of my vision that there was a car going across 3 lanes. And then by the time he got over to the right shoulder, I'm just thinking he's trying to pass me up. And I knew he wasn't going to make it because there was a guardrail coming up and there's not much of a shoulder. And at the time, my heater was out, or my AC was out in the truck, so I had the windows down. And I was expecting him to hit the guardrail, and I just hear him go off the road and just hear a crash. And so myself and 2 other vehicles went to the next exit and tried to turn around. And I didn't see the condition of the car at the time, but when I was coming back on the side road, I can see that there was smoke coming from the vehicle. And so once we made our way down there to where it was at, I got my fire extinguisher, and there was a gentleman named Kevin from Winters that was an ex-EMT, so he came down there with his backpack, and while I was trying to put out the fire a little bit, I didn't know that he was using a revolver to break out the back window, and there was a couple other people helping him. But so I ended up spraying the grass that was kind of on fire by the vehicle, and then I sprayed it in between the windshield and the hood, and it emptied out the fire extinguisher, but slowed down the fire, but it didn't put it out. So we just kept going back and forth trying to figure out how we were going to get him out. The vehicle was on its side, and the roof was facing us, and we tried the doors that were up on the top, and nothing was. They were all locked. They kept trying to think we can get it through the window, and or the back window, and that didn't happen. So a couple of us suggested just to try to break in the windshield. So we ended up kicking the windshield until it folded back a little bit, and we just grabbed it with our hands and ripped it out. And didn't even notice the fire or how bad it was at the time. And I just knew that I can get my body in there and unhook the seat belt. And he ended up dropping down to the bottom, and we pulled him out a few times away from the vehicle. And what you see there is what was left. And within about 3 minutes, it would have been completely engulfed. So that was the best choice we came up with, and that's the one that worked.
Gosh, just absolutely hair-raising, just seeing these images, just how quickly you had to act. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, this is the time to throw out love. If anyone's gonna throw out the emoji love, this is absolutely incredible, and just we cannot thank you enough for being in the right place at the right time and acting so quickly.
I look at the picture and I can't even see how it was able to get him out of that little hole.
Yeah, really incredible. Have you been in a similar situation like this before? Have you found yourself working in a fire kind of fire, experience?
I think the only thing that comes close is we were working up in the Vacaville area, and we heard that there was a car crash, but we were still probably about a half mile away, and we could see smoke coming. So we had one of our fence trucks, and we were able to get down there enough and at least put the fire out, but the people were out of the vehicle and it was still on its wheels. So we were able to put the fire out. But other than that, it was mostly responding to accidents that already happened, and we had no choice in what already happened. We weren't going to be there any sooner than what we were. But yeah, it happens quite often out there.
Gosh, had you received any training or anything like that? Any previous knowledge of how to act in a circumstance like this?
No, we just do our annual first aid training and CPR, but other than that, it's just basically on reaction.
Wow. Really incredible, Jeffrey. Really incredible. Someone's asking, did you get any injuries or cuts when you rescued the passenger?
I just got a blister on one of my fingers from the rubber sealant that was on the windshield when we pulled it off, because I didn't have time to get gloves.
Yeah. Gosh, this really sets in. Just you're acting instinctually. You're, just that fight or flight kicks in, and you chose to fight. And had you not, it might have been a very different outcome for this individual. So
yes, it would have.
Congratulations again for really stepping up and saving this life. It's absolutely incredible.
You're welcome. I hope he's still doing good.
Yeah, someone's actually asking, have you had a chance to speak with the driver?
We have no knowledge of anything about him.
Yeah, there's also a comment in there too, just saying amazing sense of control and action as well. Such an intense situation, and that you remain calm and was able to make these decisions. It is incredible. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast or slow the time goes by, because when I called our district office while I was heading to it, and I called them afterwards, just to let them know how everything was, I can't really remember how much time went by. I think it was just very little time, but it felt like it went for a while.
Oh. Incredible. There's another question here. How long after the first responders arrived to the scene? Sorry, I didn't catch all of that question. Could you ask that one, Laura? Popped up for a second.
Actually, that might have went directly to you because I'm
Oh,
not
it was
seeing
directly to
that
me. Okay, let
one.
me stop sharing for a second. Okay.
Yeah.
How long after the first responder arrived at the scene? I guess how long did it take for the first responders to arrive after you had extinguished the fire?
Well, it seemed like it took a while because I didn't know at the time where they would be responding from, and I didn't have time to ask that question. They could have been out there a lot sooner if I had known it was Vacaville fire.
Mm-hmm.
So they ended up having to go back down about a mile and a half or more to turn around and come back into the traffic. And so they were stuck in both traffics. When they got there, it was fully involved. So they were not going to be able to get there and help extinguish the fire to get them out if we hadn't. But the time frame I really couldn't tell you because it's just lost.
Yeah.
I imagine it seemed like it was taking forever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we moved them back, I think 3 times, just
Wow.
hoping that, just thinking it might spread, but the field was plowed recently, so it moved real slow and the wind was blowing the opposite way.
That's lucky.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I imagine for the CHP involved as well, it must feel like they're just taking forever to get there themselves,
Yeah, with the construction going on there, both shoulders in the median
Yeah.
and the right shoulder are narrow, so they have to try to squeeze in there.
Yeah.
Got another question here. What was your drive home like after this incident? What was going through your head?
Just a rush of emotions, just getting home to family and letting them know that I was home, but letting them know why I was late. So, but it's just going through your whole mind, just everything, and being so close to where 2 other incidents happened, it kind of hit home a little more.
There's actually a comment in the chat right now. It says, Jeffrey seems very humbled by this. It was amazing. He was at the right place and time. He's my brother and I'm proud of him.
Thank you. And don't get me going. I'll close that camera up.
Yeah, that was from Elizabeth Cano.
That's my sister. I saw it down in the lower
Oh.
corner.
Yeah, we love to see the support of our external audience and our colleagues for sure.
All right, before Jeffrey gets choked up, we'll move to Carlos and give you a break. How about that?
Before we all get choked up and need Kleenex.
I know, right? Both Laura and I are like, oh gosh, we're gonna get choked up on this
I already know Aurora's crying, so.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I'll go ahead and we'll switch it up a little bit. We'll head over to Carlos. And I'm gonna have Carlos to share a little bit more about how Caltrans supports the recognition of our employees, particularly the Medal of Valor.
Yeah, so when I first started with Caltrans back in 2015, one of the things that really took me by surprise was how Caltrans takes an active role to celebrate their employees. Some of the recognition programs that we offer is the Superior Accomplishment Award, the Sustained Superior Accomplishment Awards, Retirement Awards and Certificates, 25 and 40 years of service awards, ceremony and certificates, and of course this prestigious Governor's Medal of Valor. Every year I send out a call for nominations email to the entire department. If anyone knows of a colleague who has done a selfless act in saving the life of another, to please submit the nomination. And on that note, we are currently accepting nominations for the 2025 Medal of Valor. So for our department employees who are watching, there was an all staff email that went out, I believe it was last week. So I encourage you to look at that or to visit our webpage for information in regards to the Medal of Valor. Once I received the nominations, I reviewed the nomination form and all the supporting information to ensure that the packet is complete. And then I submit it to my management to kind of give a once glance over before sending it over to the director's office to have his staff and then him sign off on our nominations. Once it's been signed off by our director, I send that over to CalHR for the final review and approval. And then they select the recipients and those recipients are honored in the upcoming ceremony. Once CalHR notifies us of who's been selected, we begin the coordination of the award ceremony. This past June, it was held at the CHP Academy. Both Harriet and Laura have the backgrounds of all of the recipients. You can see Jeff in the purple shirt, but those are the other agencies as well who also received the Medal of Valor awards. So it's a really nice ceremony. I also get to reach out to the survivors, the friends and family, and our department managements to notify them of the details of the ceremony. In the last couple years, the number of our department nominations has grown. In 2022, we received 4 nominations, and all 4 received Medal of Valors. In 2023, we received 13 nominations, and 11 were awarded. And then this past year for 2024, we received 13 nominations and 9 were awarded Medal of Valors.
Thank you, Carlos. Just incredible work that you're, all these projects you're working on are so important. And just to share this with everybody, what we're doing, just so happy to support our awardees and our colleagues and our employees. And yeah, just to be a part of this. It's a huge event that happens every year for the Medal of Valor. Very big undertaking that you're doing, Carlos. We thank you so much for all your efforts and just your compassion that you put into the work that you do as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then I think, is there anything in the chat you want to share, Harriet, really quickly before we move on?
There's a lot of thank yous coming through to me privately. Just thank you, Jeff. Thank you for your heroic actions. What a hero. Thank you to Carlos. There's a few Carlos thank yous for helping to acknowledge these individuals. So just a lot of love coming through. It's really, this is not only a great opportunity to ask questions, but also to have a chance to meet or virtually meet and share a message of gratitude, because we don't get that opportunity. It's always, as Carlos said, the Medal of Valor award ceremony is a very extensive ceremony held at the CHP Academy in West Sacramento, and it's very prestigious. And so it's been a blessing to get to go so many years in a row and support Carlos's work and be able to meet people like Jeffrey, who agreed to come on here and chat with us so gracefully. So it's absolutely an honor to get to meet you and the other Caltrans heroes, and shake your hand, and just, wow, it's really an honor. So yeah, for those of you tuning in, send your love. We will read out all the love messages coming through of support and gratitude, because this is your chance.
Thank you. Thank you all. So Jeffrey, can you tell us a bit more about the partnership with the CHP? I know you kind of spoke to it a little bit earlier, but just give us a little bit more of a picture of what that's like with the California Highway Patrol.
For our area, it's great. I'm not sure how other state entities, how their relationship with CHPs, but I've got 75 phone numbers on my phone for CHP officers. Some have retired by now, some are still out there, and they got a lot more new recruits, but they never seem to hesitate in giving us a hand whenever we need it. Like I said, we're not on call, but we get called in the middle of the night, weekends, it doesn't matter, holidays. And there's times where I can just send them a text message and say, hey, you got anyone that wants to work on Monday, and they'll find somebody. So I give my hats out to them all the time. They're always there to help us out whenever we need it. So
yeah, that's just amazing. And it's so good to hear that. Just I see a lot of things, going around on social media, a lot of pictures, and every time we see something with Caltrans, any kind of projects that are going on or any of these incidents that are happening, a lot of the photos include like the fire departments and CHP as well. And I'm not sure for the audience here, but on Caltrans LinkedIn page, if you follow that, or if you care to look at that, a lot of times we're posting those type of photos. There's a couple of posts just recently about that. And it's just really heartwarming to know that they have our backs, and everybody's there to support, and trying to make the road safe for everybody. So thank you to everybody that's involved with that, for CHP, the firefighters, and for all our Caltrans crews. Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And on that note of partnership, and given that we are speaking about safety, we did want to take a solemn moment to honor a few of our fallen workers, and also Jeffrey, one of your our CHP partners as well, Kirk, Kwanda, and then just recently, last week, we tragically lost Alexander. So just this is the time to acknowledge that, you all are working for the safety of the general public. We're working for the betterment of California, and you're putting your lives on the line. Gosh, you're putting your lives on the line every day. And the least that we can do as members of California, members of the general public, the traveling public, is to slow down and be work zone alert. I'll share a brief moment about these individuals on screen. So Kurt Reese, on August 10th, 2008, Officer Kurt Reese was conducting a traffic stop behind a Saturn on the right shoulder of westbound Interstate 80 on Manuel Campos Parkway, and a Chevy pickup driven by a distracted driver traveled onto the shoulder and struck Officer Reese, his department motorcycle, and the Saturn. And unfortunately, he suffered major injuries and was transported to the North Bay Medical Center, where, despite valiant efforts of the paramedics and medical professionals, he succumbed to his injuries. He had faithfully served the people of California as a CHP officer for 19 years. I know, Jeffrey, you knew Kirk personally. Is there anything you wanted to share?
Oh, he was a great man. He always had that look on his face right there. He's always smiling, and scared the crap out of me one time, sneaking up on me on his motorcycle. But he had a good sense of humor, and we all miss him every day. Him and Kwanda.
And Kwanda, and both these individuals passed tragically on that same stretch of road. Is that correct?
Yeah, within a mile of each other.
Crazy. So for those of you that don't know, Kwanda McGadney, on June 3rd, 2022, just after 10 a.m., she was struck by a hit-and-run driver on westbound I-80 near Vacaville. She succumbed to her injuries on scene, and luckily the California Highway Patrol was able to arrest the suspect. But Kwanda was a Caltrans landscape maintenance worker, and had served the people of California for more than 18 years, and had been with Caltrans since 2018. She was the first Caltrans Bay Area District 4 employee to pass on the job since 2017. She was the 37th in the history of District 4 and the 190th Caltrans worker to lose their life on the job since 1921. And you can see there, since 1921, Caltrans has lost 194 Caltrans workers on the job. So it's just a solemn reminder that this is dangerous work, and you all are putting your lives on the line every day to ensure that we can get from A to B and travel. So it's just so much gratitude pouring out. Alexander Rodish as well, just last week, on July 22nd, Caltrans mourned the loss of Alexander Rodish, a roadway maintenance worker who was killed while working near Avenida Palizada on I-5 in San Clemente. Alexander began working for Caltrans in 2021 and was an equipment operator too at the San Juan Capistrano maintenance yard. He is survived by 2 adult children, a sister and a brother. And I just want to read a statement by our Caltrans director, Tony Tavares. He said, "Caltrans mourns the loss of one of our own today. Alexander was a dedicated maintenance employee who was working to make our roads safer. Our thoughts and support go out to his family, friends, and colleagues." We didn't feel it was right to speak about safety, and Jeffrey, you'd mentioned the loss of Kirk and Kwanda on that roadway without sharing their faces, honoring them and their lives and their families and their colleagues. And so just sharing a lot of love for these individuals and all of the Caltrans workers and anyone who loses their life on the job.
Well, and also, unfortunately, the city of Vacaville lost a motor officer on July 11th, and you know, it just shows that it can happen on the city streets, it can happen on the highway, you know, and that's a big loss for them. And, you know, we just want to put our thoughts out with them also, you know.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
and it was Officer Bowen.
Officer Bowen.
Bowen, yeah.
Okay. So Laura, I believe you're asking the next question to Carlos, just to
Yeah.
track there.
Yeah, I was taking a moment to look in the chat, but unfortunately I'm not just able to see most of those coming through on my end. So yeah, Carlos, I know you gave us some information earlier about the different programs that you're coordinating for these award ceremonies. But can you talk to us more from a personal standpoint? Like, how does it feel to be involved with this? You know, attending these ceremonies, contacting the awardees, the survivors. What does that feel like for you?
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling to know that we have such great heroes working with us. When I first started in this position, we had already sent out the email for the call nominations had already come in, went out, and we had started receiving the nominations. And as I was reading the citations of the heroic acts, I was like, wow, we really do have some heroes working for us. Reading the citation and actually getting in contact with the awardee, it really does put the story in perspective. When I called Jeffrey, he was very humble, and all of our heroes have been humble when I call them to let them know that they've been selected to receive this Medal of Valor. And then meeting them in person at the ceremony, shaking their hand, and they come with their friends and their family. Jeffrey had an amazing support this year. He had a lot of people cheering him on. His family was there. I believe his grandkids were there with us, and people from his yard. It really puts a perspective of what great employees we have. This year, I wasn't successful in getting in contact with the survivor. The only one we had some limited information was the survivor from the incident from Jeffrey, but I wasn't successful in getting a hold of them. But last year, I reached out to the mother of a son who was in an accident. And, she was just grateful that our employee saved her only child. And when I told her about the details about the Medal of Valor ceremony, I believe she lived up in one of the Northern California counties. She was like, yes, we'll be there. Without a doubt, just tell me when and we will be there. I want to hug them for saving my son. And sure enough, when she showed up, she came up to the Caltrans table and she immediately gave us all hugs, even though we were just the coordinators and they're welcoming her. But she said she had no idea of how to get in contact with the heroes, because once she got involved, her son was already on the way to the hospital. So that's where she met her son. And she was just grateful that they saved her son. These selfless acts really touches so many people, and it reminds us to be alert while driving on the roadways. As I said earlier, there's other agencies, as you can see in the photos, such as CHP and CAL FIRE, who that's their work, that they, save lives and protect others. But these selfless acts have, it's not part of our employees' duty statement. It just shows what the selfless acts happen on their way to work and speaks to their strong character, and the good people and great employees who we have working for us, that they're at the right place at the right time. And it's great to have them as part of our Caltrans family.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the way that you spoke about that, and just talking about our employees just being willing to step up and, show up and step up and act at any moment to save or intervene, their fellow Californian, just to help another individual out, just not even thinking twice, just jumping right into it. But also thank you, Carlos, again, just for all of your important work that you're doing. Just, the way that you're interacting with these families, the survivors and everybody. I can't think of a better person to be doing the job that you're doing. So we're very grateful for your role and what you're coordinating for this. So thank you again. And for Jeff, Carlos was mentioning your crowding cheer at this event. Do you want to speak to anything about that or share anything about everybody that was there and just what that was like?
I thought it was great because I looked back at past ceremonies and it really seemed like there was not a lot of noise. And I don't know if it was supposed to be that way, but I knew with my crew, you were going to hear them. It was good to know that from the first person to the last person, it was nice and loud. So I didn't realize until afterwards that I was up there that he said that we weren't supposed to bring our cheering section, but I just blanked everything out.
I love it. That's awesome. I love it. Just the support, that's amazing that you have around you. This kind of speaks to the teams and the people that we work for. And I know, Carlos, you mentioned last year the mom that showed up, and I remember seeing the mom too, just the overwhelming sense of gratitude. It was hard to have a dry eye last year for sure. I get super emotional with these events, and even like right now, speaking about it, I just do, but very grateful for everybody, their involvement.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And there's a lot of love coming in through the chat. We've got Cheryl King says, "We love Jeff here in the North Bay."
Thank you.
There's another message. "So grateful for all the humble and stand-up public servants like Jeffrey and those who work to recognize this selflessness and servitude like Carlos." You're all getting a lot of love there. I get a lot of congratulations. People are commenting on the great discussion. They're learning a lot from these insights. So really, really glad that we're able to bring you both on here today. There is a question, Jeffrey. Do you have any lessons learned from this experience that you'd care to share?
I've got 3 extinguishers on my truck now.
You're well prepared.
Oh,
prepared. No, it's just, anything can happen at any time. And it's just, the decision that you make is up to you. It all depends on the situation. Some things you don't have control of, but the things you do, you just got to do everything you can to make it happen. And like I said, we were lucky enough to have a few other people there. And if it wasn't one person making the decision, it was something else. And, it turned out great. So, but it just takes, that step to get in there to figure out what you want to do or not even think about it. I didn't think about it. I just went in and did it. So you can't, you start talking yourself out of it.
Right.
So.
All right, so keep your questions coming in. We've got one more or a couple more questions for you, Jeffrey. How has the experience, maybe has it impacted you and your loved ones? Is there anything you'd like to share on that?
Well, just that old saying that don't take life for granted. It can happen any moment. And, that it just, people just need to slow down. I know they're all in a hurry. They're still rushing around and the speed's just going to go up. But nothing's that important where, you got to go that fast. And then a lot of times it's not even the person that actually crashes that caused it. It's someone else doing something and making them overreact, and then they're long gone. So, we get a lot of hit and run accidents out here. It's just slow down and think of it as your own family member being out there, how you would want someone to drive around them, and just do the same thing.
Absolutely. I was sharing with Jeffrey, Carlos, and Laura that I drove on that same stretch of road. My mom's from England, and I went and picked her up from SFO. And so just driving through, there's a lot of road work going on. And just the amount of people that zoom past. And of course, I'm strict with being work zone alert and slowing for the cone zone. People were getting annoyed at me slowing down and actually following the law. So it's just wild. It's like if we all work together, support one another, we can all go home to our families, like you say. It's just, it seems second nature, but for some reason it falls by the wayside sometimes. So hopefully this is a good reminder to everyone in the audience.
I have a comment here. Yeah, I have a comment that came in to me from Janie. Congratulations, Jeff. You're so kind and always available for call outs. So proud of you and grateful for working with you.
Hmm.
Oh,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Janie.
love the love coming
They
in.
just know me as 637 pretty much.
Reliability is what it's all about in the line of work you're in, right?
Mhm.
You've all got to hold your integrity and support one another in the partnerships. So that's wonderful to see. Wonderful. So finally, what advice would you give to others who find themselves in a similar situation like this?
Well, it's all within your abilities, your means, or how comfortable you feel with something like that. You never know, um, what's going to come up and how you're going to handle it. So, they say it's really out of our job scope for that. And, is it? I don't know. We're out there to protect the traveling public, either making repairs on things or um, doing traffic control for emergencies. And so, anything can happen anytime, and it's just what your mindset at. And if you can do it, you can do it. I don't like to see where something happens and people just keep driving by. Stop the help. I don't know how many people I've pushed out of the lane just because their car died for some reason or another.
Wow.
You just got to watch your back for people that are trying to get where you're trying to push the car to, so, but it's just going to happen. It's just a matter of how you deal with it.
Yeah.
There's another comment in the chat also from Elizabeth saying that you even leave during our Christmas Day celebration at work. Such dedication.
I got lucky. The accident was right down the road, but I had to go back to the house to get the truck to go to the job.
Wow.
That happens quite a bit.
That's dedication, Jeffrey. We're so lucky to have you.
Thank you.
So on that note, I know we've talked about a lot of heavy topics here today. So I'm going to kick it to Laura just to share a little bit about the assistance that Caltrans provides their employees. So over to you, Laura.
Yeah, so just for any internal employees that are here, Caltrans does collaborate with an organization or a company called Magellan Healthcare, where you can get employee assistance programs. There are several different types available. I've checked them out myself. So some amazing resources there and services. There's a phone number here up on the screen, so take a screenshot. There is a link in there for the website, but yeah, take a screenshot with your phone, check them out in your free time, see what they offer. There's multiple services and resources for employees. So we highly encourage you to visit that and to see what they offer and see if there's any services you can take advantage of.
Thank you, Laura. Oh, I did share my audio. I've got a couple more little videos to share, but if there's any questions or comments coming in, please feel free to read those out. We was surprising you, Jeffrey. We got a special note from your second line supervisor from Carlos Gutierrez, who is a Caltrans Maintenance Manager 1. So I just want to read this out to you because it's some really, really kind words that really speak to Jeffrey's character. So Carlos said, Jeffrey Clute is one of those rare, fully dedicated employees we all wish we had. I've known Jeff most of his career of almost 25 years. He has always been a strong-willed, hardworking, dependable, reliable member of Caltrans. He is strongly committed to his coworkers and the department as a whole. Jeff is concise with his directions, clearly conveys tasks, and inspires his staff to work as a cohesive team. I've had the pleasure of directly supervising Jeff for the past 10 years, and he shares his big heart with everyone around him. As a bridge supervisor, Jeff is incredibly aware of the importance of repairing safety devices to protect the general public and pushes to meet the high demand of his position in a metropolitan area. Nominating Jeff for the Medal of Valor is not surprising. Jeff is a man of strong character and willingness to help. Our district, region, county, and I are incredibly proud of his efforts. Congratulations, Jeff.
Thank you.
Really wonderful words. Thank you, Carlos. I think I saw you were tuned in. So thank you, Carlos, for sending this over. We appreciate it. All the love for. Oh, he's sat over near you too. But but it's really nice to see.
Such a nice message.
Such a lovely message, right?
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And then on the topic of safety, we wanted to show a couple of quick clips. This is just a reminder of some of the safety campaigns that Caltrans and the Office of Traffic Safety and CHP have going. So I'll just share that with you all very quickly.
Hello! You're going way too fast.
Don't you see the work zone?
Seriously? That's my pop-up behind those cones. How would you feel if that was your dad? Be alert. Be work zone alert.
Jeffrey, we'll have to get you up on one of these campaigns with your grandkids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they would have no problem with that.
That would be
Okay, we know
awesome.
public affairs people. We'll keep you in the loop for the next one. And then finally, we had the great honor of attending the Medal of Valor Award ceremony this year, and we had a chance to interview a few of our Medal of Valor Award recipients. And so we put together this video with some of the shots that we got of them just to really hone in on that safety message. And remember that each of these individuals in this video risked their life to save another of the general public. So I think it just hits home a little bit more with their messaging that the acts that they did out of the goodness of their heart, and what we can do for them to keep them safe.
We were in a work zone, a full connector closure, and it just so happened that a drunk driver came through the closure, and while I was talking to my CHP officer, the car went zooming right behind me, nearly hitting me. And, you know, fortunately I had my CHP officers there, so they were able to go after him and detain him. But, you know, that's just stuff that we deal with on the daily.
We have families that we want to go home to, and we are trying to do stuff on that freeway for your safety and the safety of others. And slowing down is highly appreciated for everybody involved.
Or slow down, take your time, leave early, come prepared. You know, and they repeat the same things over and over and over again because it's what you need to do.
They should respect the cone zone. When they set the speed limit to 50, it's a little bit more manageable to control and prevent some accident. And unfortunately, a lot of people probably don't know that a car at 50 miles an hour travels 73 feet per second.
We don't close lanes just for the fun. We close it because there's an emergency. And then when we're working on the shoulder, it's the same thing. They just don't pay attention. We see it every day.
It's a dangerous job.
Especially up here in the mountains. Especially in the
These
snow.
trucks go by at 75 miles an hour, 4 feet away, 3 feet away when you're in a cone car. You know?
Have you ever felt that your life was in danger?
Every day.
Such a powerful video.
Yeah, we can't thank you, Jeffrey, and the other Medal of Valor awardees for being a part of that messaging, because we really think it'll be a powerful message to the public and to all. Yeah, we're just really, really proud and glad to be a part of this project, to get to share your message and keep you all safe as best we can.
We all hope someday it'll work.
Yeah, little by little, right? Little by little. So we do have a couple more minutes if there's any questions that anyone wanted to ask, but we just wanted to thank you so very much, Jeffrey and Carlos. Thank you so much for being here today, for sharing your story, sharing your experience, and the work that you do to support our department. It has been an absolute honor to chat with you today and hear more of your perspectives. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. All right, and I see a lot of love coming through, a lot of applause. So thank you to everyone who was attending here today. We really, really appreciate the support and the love that has come through. It is so well deserved. So we really are honored to be able to bring you all together, to be able to meet Jeffrey and pass on your words. So thank you again for attending. For anyone interested in next month's episode, we're really excited to bring you an episode about communications in government. So kind of the media side of Caltrans. We're talking with public affairs, how we communicate out messaging, and it's going to be a really exciting episode. Laura and myself actually work very closely with our public affairs office, so we're excited to bring some of our colleagues in again and share some insightful content. And Laura shared the registration link in the chat if you are interested. If you have any suggestions for any future topics, if you want to bring Jeffrey and Carlos back again, let us know and we will try and convince them. But if you do have any suggestions for any area of Caltrans or any people that you would like to hear from, please contact us, dhr.communications@dot.ca.gov. And when you close out of this webinar, there will be a very short feedback survey. We would really, really appreciate it if you took the time to complete that so we can continue bringing you some amazing content and keep improving. So thank you all so much. Laura, I don't know if there's anything else in the chat that you wanted to share.
Yeah, on my side, I'm not getting as many comments. I think they're sending them to you, directly to you, unfortunately. I can't read them, sorry, but I read what I have on my side. But yeah, if you have any last comments you want to add in, please feel free to do that. And thank you all, just like Carrie said,
Thanks
for
to all of
being here
you that
today.
joined this webinar. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of thank yous. Yeah, they're coming through privately. Thank you so much, Mohammed.